96.9 FM. Streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app. Nassau, Bahamas. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Good morning and welcome to Guardian Radio AM. Today is finally Wednesday, August 6th, and it's a little after 11 o'clock in the morning. Once again, it's CA Newry, as we have a Man Down Mashup Wednesday. That means that we combine two shows together and talk about what is trending in the news, what is trending in social media. What I'm going to do today is have an open line Wednesday. Yeah. Let's talk about what you want to talk about. Mind you, there's some nice stuff trending inside the Nassau Guardian. What's been trending in the Nassau Guardian for this entire week. But I'm going to include you. There are one or two things I'm sure that you want us to discuss or hash out or give an opinion on. And you can call in and say, Newry, what is your opinion about this, that, and the other? One of the things I found entertaining, and that's a key word I'm going to use, entertaining, was that what do you call that press place? What do you call the press place?
The press club?
The press club. Am I a part of the press, Aaron? I'm a part of media?
We're part of media.
Like social media? What am I?
You're part of formal media. I'm not sure, like the technical line.
I call myself the fifth estate, not like the fourth. You know, there's the fourth estate.
Yeah.
There's a media. I'm like the fifth estate.
Yeah. We the backup.
I like a backup.
Yeah.
I do commentary.
We're not front line.
No, I do commentary. I make it entertaining. I hash out things, But I don't have the responsibility like how the media has to make sure they're correct. I give opinion.
No.
I give opinion.
Yeah, but that's sort of different from responsibility to be correct. We still have some of the similar responsibilities.
Yeah, but
right?
I give opinion. They give facts. They don't give media. I see other radio stations and other what I call frontline media who come and do commentary as part of their journalistic freedoms. And say, wait, you don't give commentary. You give the facts. How can you be giving commentary on the government?
Okay, so a distinction. You correct commentary versus the delivery of the news facts, right? Mm-hmm. But you still have an obligation to be correct.
Yeah. I'm not saying.
And you have an obligation to make a distinction and make sure that people understand the difference between you presenting your particular commentary. But I wouldn't just call it an opinion.
Okay.
I would call it, because as a media personality, at least on public airwaves, right? Mm-hmm. You're supposed to be bringing, at the very least, an informed opinion. And there's a difference between an opinion and an informed opinion. An informed opinion holds more weight in the discourse.
Yes, and I'll accept that. But even informed opinions are subjective. I can research and say, this is what I conclude based on my research. Mm-hmm. I don't necessarily think media, frontline media, supposed to form an opinion. Let the people, the reader,
form the opinion.
Right,
and that's why you have op-eds.
Yes.
Right, so you have the news, and then you have people who are contributing informed opinions in the paper. But I definitely say we may be a part of the media, we may even be a part of the press, but we definitely not front line.
Can I claim the term fifth estate?
Yeah, man, why not?
I like that.
Let me make sure ain't nobody else claim it first, right? But
it's the Bahamas. It's a pirate. We claim things.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I have a whole beach in Long Island. I just claim it. I claim it in the name of Jesus. My Lord gave that to me, But I find, as you Google that and do a search on that, there are bloggers in general, and I'm using this term, but we coined today the fifth estate. not the for the state, the media, the frontline media, formal media, but those who give opinion, tend to put forward things as truism. Like this is true. This is absolutely true. When they know that it's their opinion, right? I can give my opinion on it. I'm blogging on it. I interpreting it what it is, but I cannot hold fast that it is true. And there's a danger to that. And I believe that us as we as talk show hosts, we as bloggers, must at least divulge that. Say, hey, by the way, this is my opinion I've given right here. It can be an informed opinion based on stuff I've read or researched, but this is still my opinion. Or you'll be subject to people saying, man, that ain't true. Well, you interpreted that differently, despite the freedom. What about freedom of speech regarding that? I have freedom to say anything on this radio, eh?
No.
No?
No,
there's responsibility?
First of all,
Besides Urkel. Urkel's calling.
Right, with every freedom comes responsibility.
Urkel's calling.
See, here's the thing. You have limited or restricted freedom of speech. Restricted by the nature of the platform that you're on.
Okay.
You own this radio station?
I own this radio station.
I was going to say, if you own this station, I could use Ray's cousin.
No,
If you own it, I could use
I will
Ray's.
give you a raise.
Right, and so we're also bound by the set the standard for the station.
But to give me a free show to talk about.
No, thank you.
I asking. I can't talk about everything.
You could talk about virtually everything. Remember, there are rules from the judiciary
There's rules.
that restrict how we can talk about cases and matters that are before the courts.
Yes.
Right? We are allowed to read directly from the paper because the paper wouldn't be able to print it if it were not allowed to be published, right?
We learned that early in the game.
And what you see in the paper about cases that are before the court, the reporter is sort of transcribing what they observed and witnessed in the court.
Yes.
Right? And so there are rules. There are some things that we cannot talk about. And then there are national security matters, right?
What do you mean by that?
I mean, there are national security matters. Like somebody could have leaked a thing and you could have seen it, right?
If they leak it to me.
Bang.
Man, I come on the radio. I go on my social media.
But this is what I'm saying, right? That
I know better.
there are things that you know as a responsible adult
Yes.
that should not be in the public domain, no matter how they came into your hands.
Yes.
Right? And then you be and then in some instances you have to be very careful how you
Yes.
speak because
And referring to it.
a learned individual may be able to context that others don't
Yes.
understand where you are speaking from, if I could use that.
And know that there's legal ramifications
Right.
of saying such things.
So then here's the next thing. Then you say, well, I'm free to say anything I want. I mean, if your mouth works, you could say anything
could
you
say
want.
anything. Okay.
However, right, you also have an obligation to the entity that provided the platform, right? So for instance, you'll notice when you hear about a lawsuit, right? They don't just sue the one individual. They say, hey, we're going to sue the individual and we're going to sue the people that gave them the capacity to make the statement in the manner that they did, right? And so you have sort of this, I don't know if it's silent or unspoken, but you have an obligation to your employer to hold to the standard
Yes.
that they set.
And that's why we have bosses, and bosses caution us. And you see, we get that inbox, correct us. Do not, yeah. But talking from personal responsibility. Let me bait you.
Okay.
I'm trying to bait you. Talking from personal responsibilities. As you've been on the talk show longer than me, a couple months longer than me, right? You've been, in quotes, reported to IRCA twice. And put it in quotes, loosely,
yeah.
right? Where people was uncomfortable with what you said or how you treat them, whatever it is. And of course, it's a big rigmarole where the bosses have to interpret and hash things out. How does IRCA fit in to freedom of speech? Especially you, who opinionated. Yeah, man, you study all the time. You're opinionated, you say things, you manage your show, right? And then there's the IRCA thing.
Right. And so there are standard rules, like we talked about politics. There are rules about politics, so you have to give equal airtime, right? Like you can't deny a registered political party from participating, right? We have rules around election day. Like you can't have any political discussion on election day. If you do and you report it to IRCA, then IRCA will then enforce whatever regulations exist. But knowing that there's oversight should cause you to naturally moderate your behavior. See, they talk about the small car phenomenon. People that don't have to see the bank manager once a month, they tend to operate differently inside their car.
Yeah.
Right? And so knowing that there is a regulatory body, it automatically moderates. It helps me to moderate, right? Like that's just another layer there. What really helps me is the way I grew up in this country. My mother's a civil servant for 40 plus years. I always grew up like anybody could pinch me and round me, like I am concerned about how I impact the community that I'm a part of, and that causes me to moderate my behavior.
Yeah. I find that I'm less reckless on the radio, whereas on social media, I tend to say anything until I get a phone call. Just okay. But anyway, we're talking about what's in the news today. We're talking about it's open line Wednesday. Line up some of the things that you want to have something interesting. What you want to discuss, right?
You had to pull that back.
Yeah, and then I'll let this caller come in.
Do you teach men how to talk to their wives? Because that was good.
Yeah.
I like how you did that.
No.
You say, hold on, wait. Let me frame it.
I marry one of them alpha women. They opinionated. So me being Sigma and manipulative, and I need to be able to work around them.
That's what I said.
Yeah, work around them. Yes, you're doing a good job, honey, but can you pass the bacon so I can taste it to see if you did an excellent job? And then the food come and they say, yes, good. Yeah, they like that. And I say, you go, woman. Well, let's go to the caller. Guardian Radio AM. This is CA Newry. We have an open line Wednesdays, a man down, mashup Wednesday. We combine both shows together. We're giving you a chance to say, add to our conversation. We're talking about what is trending in the news, what is trending on social media in general. But go ahead. It's your turn. Go ahead, caller.
Good morning, Aaron.
Morning.
Let me say that the views expressed on this program are the views of the host and not necessarily the views of the Guardian.
Yes, sir.
I like that.
That is the disclaimer that is there, I guess, to protect the owners from any liability.
So you know what the people could say? They can say, y'all know Erin was crazy from y'all hired her.
Hire her. She's part of that crew.
Well, they should have vetted you, Aaron, more properly. So I guess they are liable for suit. But what I really wanted to talk about was, I tried to get it into Chester's program, but I don't know. Proper calling, and he talked about the VAT that was being charged on the tourists on the private islands, according to Mr. Simon Wilson. But I remember distinctly that in February of last year, Mr. Wilson also said that the government will be charging VAT beginning March of that particular year. So I'm wondering, well, I know that there was initially some pushback in regards from the cruise line industry. But I believe that I thought that the government had already implemented VAT taxation on cruise.
I thought so too. I remember the announcement that they're going to implement or reinstate VAT on the private islands. I assume that has already started.
And
then a fee for persons, like a work permit fee for people who are off the cruise ship to come on the island. I know they implement that too.
And the other thing, that I wanted to mention, I thought that the DPM as Minister of Tourism would have given an account of the Tourism Development Corporation. I thought we would have gotten some information because we are collecting $2 from every cruise passenger. If we're getting 10 million cruise passenger a year, right? That's $20 million. In 2 years, that's $40 million. And I know what the money is supposed to be doing towards and entrepreneurs and whatnot. But how many persons have benefited from that corporation? What is the money exact? I mean, there's no accounting to how this money is being used. I know when this first came on, CAU mentioned this and how they were attempting to run this particular industry, but we don't know what the money is being used for, how these funds are being dispersed. You know what I mean.
Your commentary is more. I am more concerned about the opposition. Surely the opposition would have noticed this. Like you said, like you mentioned, I mentioned that the money is now moving from the consolidated fund to a private fund, and they're silent. What is the opposition doing to ask such questions? I appreciated that you remember that such exists. I remember Aaron and I debating this. And
the Tourism Development Corporation Fund, right?
Yeah, but the idea is, what the opposition doing?
Yeah, I mean, how much money is in that fund, and what is that?
And are the reporting procedures similar to the reporting procedures for the consolidated fund? Like, where would we go? What is the actual procedure for the process that you outlining?
Aaron, as I go, we haven't had any table audited reports since Mr. Terrence Bethel either was fired or resigned. Well, we haven't heard any kind of audits being going on.
I would like to say that maybe once, right? I referenced in the paper maybe once, but I think that entire was not properly addressed by the leader of the House, the leader of business, government leader in the House, or the Speaker, or anyone, right?
Or the opposition in general.
Because the thing you talking about, that episode was when the Auditor General, who at the time was Terrence Bastian, tabled the audit for the Bahama Games and Carifta Games. Mm-hmm. Then there was a story in The Guardian subsequent with the chair of the local organizing committee for Carifta, and the word that was printed was garbage.
It was garbage.
In response to the audited report, and then the minister responsible for youth, sports, and culture tabled an unaudited report instead, right? In the stead, STEAD, of the audited report, and we don't know what happened after that. Yeah. We don't know if the unaudited report was rejected, right? We don't know if anybody was sanctioned or censured for what appears on the surface to be a breach in procedure. Mm-hmm. And because it has not been properly addressed now...
In the Honorable House. Don't forget where it is.
Right, in the House of Parliament, and I don't think it was addressed in the House or outside, I am concerned about the working conditions and whether people who are responsible for producing audits, right, are motivated to ensure that they get tabled, or whether that's their purview at all.
Yeah, and I think money matters is the crux of government. The government will be judged by how they manage the money that they've been entrusted to. Trust me, you do the behavior according to how you are managing
their money,
finances,
and the quality of life.
Thank you very much,
and the cost of living.
Thanks for your time, guys. Have a good one.
Newry, if I could say just quickly before we go to the next caller, a nation is more than just an economy, right? You got a nation of laws and regulations. You got a country of people and culture, and you got an economy, right? Mm-hmm. It's problematic when you find that the only they're focused on is money. But even in this instance where it appears as if the only thing that they're focused on is the economy, then you realize that they're still doing a poor job at that. Mm. Anyway, I just want to say that.
I understand. And it begs to the narrative of culture. You mentioned culture and people. Who is responsible for defending, for narrating our official culture, right? Is that a government process to say the government's job is to protect it?
Right, and how do they do that? Do they do that by providing resources? Do they do that by initiating mechanisms? Do they do that by creating an environment in which the private sector and civil society and the public could come together in like a tripartite situation to protect?
Okay, let's go to the next corner. The lines are blinking like crazy. Go ahead, Guardian Radio AM. This is CA Newry. We have an open line Wednesday. We mashed the two shows together. Aaron Green's with me. What is on your mind?
Don, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, Miss Green, and good morning, Mr. Newry. Papa. Hey,
go ahead, Papa.
I don't know, but tell me something, Mr. Newry. At least I can leave that. But with, I don't. Since you say it's an open line, right? I don't know if y'all remember. A couple of weeks ago, it was a letter sent. How do you say it? The Secretary of State, State Secretary, United
The Secretary of
States,
State,
Rubio,
the State Department.
State Department. You remember the letter what was sent from the Bahamas concerning?
It was a letter
immigration
from
and different
a
matters?
private group. And they were complaining about national security and that the government is.
I say what become of that. I wonder what become of that because
The-
lately I hear on the news. I think Dwight was talking about it Tuesday or something.
The chairman of the Progressive Liberal Party made commentary about it and denouncing it. The chairman of the Progressive Liberal Party made commentary on it, denouncing the letter,
he had to
which
say? What
rightly
he said?
so. So, I mean,
Say it again.
the chairman of the PLP
Yeah.
gave commentary on it, denouncing the letter.
You
Right?
say denouncing?
Denounce. Say it's a bad letter, basically.
Okay, yeah. Always when you say them big words, what they use and what you know, because you be in the stock, break it down. Dumb it
I was one of the
down,
slow
listen
setting
to
sack,
the
man.
Hmm?
I got in there to do track. I ain't a smart one.
He condemned it. He-
Simplify it for sometimes of-
Okay, he condemned it. He condemned it.
Yeah, he condemned it. So that's why okay, lately Dwight was talking about this new thing with America, talking about persons coming from different parts of the Caribbean or the world, to the United States, something to do with money, right?
Okay, so there's a
new
it's
policy.
a pro-
Talked about policy.
I have some notes on it,
Papa.
Papa.
Miss Green, so you could explain and make me understand it more better. But
The Bahamas safe from that, though. But I'll let Mitt Green have some notes on it.
What I want to say to it, Mr. Newry, if you don't mind.
Yeah, man, go ahead.
Okay. I wonder how it affect, or can it affect our free clearance using our police record rather than having a visa, being able to go when you done pass through custom over here. I mean, the U.S. custom over here, you go straight where you go in.
Papa, they ain't talking about us.
Huh?
They ain't talking about us.
No, they ain't talking about that. I wonder if it could ever get that far, because they saying how it annoyed. Dwight says for 3,000 something of us who over either stay our time over there, and persons was talking about, I sure that it's what you call original Bahamians been doing it, but there's some newcomers who just was given citizenship by different governments, and they have our passport. And
But they still ain't talking about
pointing
us.
that out, and I
That's-
wonder if that's something you all wanted to talk about.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
no,
so
that's
so
what I'm
so
talking
pause. When you say if we wanted to talk about, sure, 3,000 Bahamians overstaying compared to a number like, say, maybe a million,
Jamaica have 1 million people in the United States. That's a big difference. From,
right? And not
3,000.
not undocumented, not all undocumented,
just
right?
1 million people.
Yes, but two wrongs don't make a right if they was documented or not.
No. What I'm saying is that I'm making a sort of a size comparison. You're talking about 3,000 Bahamians overstaying, or just Bahamians in America generally, Mr.
No,
Newry?
overstaying, they were saying.
Total, whatever it is. The
Yeah.
point is our numbers are so minute.
Overstaying, Miss Green.
Our numbers are so minute, they don't see us. It's like ants. We like ants. They
I
don't
just
see
believe
us.
that we need to, that should wake us up a little bit and try to enforce our laws and be careful that these citizenship would be given out and stuff like that.
I think you, Papa, okay, I think you conflating two issues, right? So if I read from the article, U.S. could require up to $15,000 bonds for some tourist visas under pilot programs, right? What they're talking about is there's a line here about countries, right? Countries will be identified based on high overstay rates, screening and vetting deficiencies, concerns regarding acquisition of citizenship by investment without a residency requirement, and foreign policy considerations, right? And so the thing that we should be concerned about is the strengthening, the integrity and strengthening of our national institutions, right?
Ma'am.
We must
That's what
be sure that the
that's what I was trying to say. You so good. You so listen. So I also like what Mr. Newry was saying by baiting you. I mean, thanks for what you had to say just now. And although I might still not understand it fully, right? I just feel like you said, we need to do what we need to do on our side. You understand? Because I think free clearance, I mean, I don't know how much people would go or how much do you should appreciate that, and being able to travel on our police record.
Now-
Anyway, I mean, everywhere in the world, every country could travel to the United States on police record.
uh,
That's a privilege we get.
no. Only to the U.S. we could travel on police record. But see, this pre-clearance. Okay, so first of all, the pre-clearance system is primarily.
I think we just shouldn't make America mad to take that away from us.
Okay, so let me respond to that. Pre-clearance is a mechanism that primarily benefits Americans, and consequentially or subsequently benefits Bahamians and our tourism product.
I know I benefit from that.
Right? So it makes it easier for people to travel. For instance, when I travel south to Trinidad for meetings, right, I always have to leave a day early.
And you got to go to the United States first, right?
Right, and here's why. So Trinidad, that first flight out of Trinidad to get to the U.S., they leave sometimes 3:30 a.m., 4 a.m. in the morning, right?
Yeah.
So Trinidad, and there's no pre-clearance. So
and the time zone thing.
right. So let
time
me,
zone thing, right?
yeah, let me finish, Papa.
Okay. Hey, before you cut me, I want to say something with him baiting you with that media question. I think he beating around the bush. Mm-hmm. You want to say something, but he ain't say it.
That's something. You didn't hear the man say he teach class on how to talk to women, right?
Not something, but he ain't saying it yet. He won't say it. He's supposed to be that person.
He can't be saying it yet because I can't hear nothing, Papa.
Okay.
I can't hear nothing he was saying.
Okay, go.
All right, so let's talk about Newry just for a second. The pre-clearance thing and the benefit to Bahamians and its purpose, right? So leaving Trinidad, they have to book me with enough time. I have to get on a flight so that my next connecting flight to the Bahamas from Florida, I could clear customs and immigration, which could take up to 4 hours, right? What pre-clearance does is it allows Americans to travel more quickly, like. You could get your travel done in a day. See, the organization, they don't want to put me up in a hotel overnight. So they need to get my travel itinerary so I could get home in one day. And pre-clearance allows Americans to move quickly and rapidly, right, as they travel in. Primary benefit to Americans, secondary benefit to Bahamians. Let's go to the caller. Mm-hmm. Good morning, caller. Good morning, caller. You still there? Let's go to the next caller, producer. Good morning, caller. Good morning, caller. You still there? Sorry we lost you. Okay. Let me just follow up on that article. The article is from Reuters. U.S. could require up to $15,000 bonds for some tourist visas under pilot programs. The program gives U.S. consular officers the discretion to impose bonds on visitors from countries with high rates of visa overstays, according to a Federal Register notice. Trump's immigration policies have led some visitors to skip travel. Consular officers will have 3 options for visa applicants subjected to the bonds. I'm coming to you right now, caller. $5,000, $10,000, or $15,000, but will generally be expected to require at least $10,000, it said. The funds will be returned to travelers if they depart in accordance with the terms of their visas. Citizens of countries in the visa waiver program are exempt, and consular officers will retain the discretion to waive the bond on a case-by-case basis.
Okay, let's go to the next caller. Guardian Radio AM, go ahead, caller.
Good morning, Mr. Newry.
Good morning, man.
Yeah, quite an interesting show. Mr. Newry,
Hey.
by opine, and this is not Guardian's opinion, Trump is meaning exactly us, okay?
You think so?
Listen, he is meaning exactly us. Now, here's it. You're saying it's 3,000 Bahamians overstay. I've been going to the States before Disney World was finished, from 1976. I used to show them my passport, but now you have a new one, so you don't show you all the stamps. I have no desire to stay in the States. That's just the way it is. But, all right, for me here in the inner city, right? And I don't need no one to tell me this. I know a lot of Haitian Bahamians here. And all of the children who go away to the States, they don't come back. I ain't asking you nothing. I telling you what I see. I could show you one family where 3 of them went and none of them came back. All right? So now, for me, the problem is, even though it's only 3,000 and something, you have to understand the preponderance of fraudulent documents within that particular amount is what is concerning, and then they know that they can prove this because they're seeing inconsistencies, so hence they say fraud is existing and national security interests. So maybe the lesson here is, all right, if the states could tell us demographically and data-wise, right, when they quantify which demographic is or people is more likely to overstay, that means we should be doing the same thing here instead of having a free-for-all and running up people up. Also, as to the beginning of the show, you was talking about information and the responsibility of the media and duty of care, right? But sometimes you have to understand, like a texter texting the other morning, and they text about some of the side effects of biopsies and needle inserts, a needle being inserted injections into the human flesh, and the side effects on the venous system. And so you should have a free bloodless come on and explain it to people. But I won't call the name because I don't want to target any host, but the host automatically dismissed it. But when you go online and read it, these, even though they don't happen a lot, there are still side effects in which it can cause cancer to spread and other things to happen, and venous collapse. But
Okay.
if you, the same way you lying on educating the public about finances and other things, we have a duty of care to educate the masses about the science that affects them, instead of saying that they're dummies, they don't understand. And so for me, the medical community, some stood with the humanity during the pandemic. Dr. Culmer, Dr. Philip Bethel, Dr. Archer, and I could call international scientists who stood with humanity amidst the insanity.
Okay,
and so,
52.
let me finish this.
Yeah, finish it.
And so during the pandemic, right, we should have learned that we can't be accepting the gospel according to them. And so then I asked AI a question. If the lab leak hypothesis did it happen? And so AI is lying to me and telling me there's no consensus and they didn't this and that. But I've read so many books. I know it was a lab leak because I can look at the 203 outbreak. What I'm saying is, when you decided to accept something as gospel, it's very dangerous. Also, there was a professional on. And if I ask you and Miss Green, who seems to be learning, if vaccinations and immunization are the same thing?
Okay, 52.
No, man. Listen, and then you would say that they are, but they are not. So what that mean? You're misleading people. I want the truth to come out. I don't care who it is. They are not. So what I'm saying is people lean towards what the pundits say, even if they're incorrect. And that shouldn't be if you have a smartphone in your hand and you could go discern truth from lie. That means you're not serving the purpose.
Okay, 52. I appreciate it. I extended it because, I appreciate you. And I said, let me make sure 52 get on them because I understand half of that. But go ahead. Guardian Radio AM. Let's go to the next caller.
Yeah, good morning, Newry. Good morning, Aaron.
Good morning.
Morning.
How y'all doing?
Good.
I have a concern. There was a call on Steve McKinney's show yesterday that is from San Salvador, that visited San Salvador, and said that the people are silent there because Club Med is telling them to vote in a certain direction. That's number one.
To vote?
He said,
They can't vote in the Mediterranean. They can't vote in the Mediterranean. Bahamians, you can't vote in the Mediterranean.
I think that's what he meant.
And Club Med can't vote here neither.
Yeah. Club Med open.
They got to be open. Yeah, I think so.
But Bahamian sensible though. No one can tell you how to vote.
But they don't have.
We just take things.
They have
We can
power.
take-
They have
we can
power
take-
issues in Sensal.
Yeah.
It's hard.
It's hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you can give me your whole host and thing and say, man, thank you. But when I go in that pool by myself, you can't tell me nothing.
That's a serious allegation, and we hope that it is just.
Opinions, when people, it's election time. People make up all kind of things, and
Yeah.
people are emotional about all kind of
You
things.
see, when we go back to the conversation we were having earlier, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you have a freedom of speech, but you need to be responsible about what you
And
put into the
analytical
public domain.
about it. I mean, when you analyze it yourself, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, right.
If the allegation is true, you do those most affected by the behavior highlighted a disservice
Mm-hmm.
by the way that you present it, right?
Let's say it is true. Let's for Tingham. What should he have done? Or what could he do? He's concerned. He's saying his employer is telling him how to work. I'd say go to my
Okay, so-
MP. Hey, my MP, you know these people. I'm saying this.
So it's a couple of things that you could do. You can go to the MP you could go to your MP and ask your MP to reach out to the MP for Sensal. But before you do that, you may want to attempt to reach out to the individuals affected and document what it is that they're saying, right? And you make a determination of the validity of the reasoning, right? You make a determination of what they're saying. You get a lawyer. First of all, I don't understand. Get a lawyer. And if you think you cannot afford a lawyer, the Eugene DePuch Law School Legal Aid Clinic is where you go next.
Any learned people in San Salvador?
Get plenty of learned people in
Man,
San
they
Salvador.
straight bad. I thought they was a slow kind
And-
island. Yeah, let's go to the next caller. Guardian Radio AM. Man, the phone was just going light up just now. Go ahead, Guardian Radio AM.
Newry,
Hey.
the second point the person made was they went to
You there? Yeah, okay, let's go to the next caller. Go ahead, caller. Guardian Radio AM.
Hello, Mr. Newry.
Hey, this is Nuri.
All right. Let me ask you something. Why when people call and they make a statement, y'all just shut them off?
I can answer this. Hold on. I can answer this. We start off with it. We start off the program on why. Let me ask Aaron. I hope you're still there so you can hear. Because that's a good question.
I listen in because I finished yet, but I
Hold on.
listen in.
Yeah, but Aaron, why do when the callers come and they start saying inflammatory things that we have to cut them?
Because we have a legal responsibility, right, that we do not allow individuals to defame or slander other individuals on this platform.
Okay, pause there. Was that good enough for you?
Okay, that's pretty good. Now
Okay.
let me say this to you. Has the nicest them been paid yet?
I know. We're the nurses union. That's what nurses union to do.
No, man.
You mean
I was
if
gonna
the
give you
nurses
some
union ain't
information.
complaining? You saying that's what happened? The nurses union is not complaining?
Well, I was going to give you some information.
But I want to know
But the
if
last time
hold
I tried
on.
to give
I want
Aaron,
to
you check.
But
to
I'm
see
asking.
My information was right,
hold
I
on.
wouldn't give it a person number.
But let me engage him. Is this about the nurses issue?
This is the nicest.
Oh, hold on.
not
No, I'm asking you
paid.
questions, so let's go back and forth. Is this about the nurses issue?
This is about the nicest.
Okay,
nicest them not
now,
getting paid.
did you go to the nurses union?
month,
Hold
for
on.
the month,
Let me ask
for
you a
the month.
question. Did you go to the nurses union to complain?
So if I was a nice,
Did you
if I
go
was a
to the
nice-
no?
Then
I ain't having a
that's
conversation. Did you go and report it to the nurses union? Yes, either yes or
I'm
no.
asking you. I'm asking you because y'all in the media.
And
Y'all should
we
be
talked
able to
about that
know some of
earlier.
these things, what people talk
The
about,
nurses union job is to represent nurses. It's your duty to go to them,
Sir-
and then they'll come to
Sir,
us.
if you would like to learn more about the status of the negotiations with the nurses union and the the Ministry of
I
Labor
said-
and Public
listen to
Service,
me.
here's an
Listen to
article,
me.
Bahamas Nursing Union's Challenges. You can find it on the ZNS Network channel on YouTube. And nurses demand more pay in pending industrial something. That's on Facebook,
okay,
Eyewitness News Bahamas' Facebook page. The first is July 26th, and the latter is a month ago.
I hope that helps.
Okay.
Because
Then I first
here's what I'm saying. Hold on, but
Friday on
caller,
your station, you know.
caller. Here's what I'm saying. It's an open line, right?
Yeah.
You could have actually just come on the show and said, "Hey guys, have you been following the status of the negotiations with the nurses union and their contract?" That's it. It's there are thousands and thousands of issues every day that we could discuss, and to be responsible media members, we want to do a little bit of research before we come to the airwaves, right? And so that limits what we are prepared to talk about on a daily basis.
Aaron,
Go ahead, man.
hi. Information before.
On the airwaves?
Yes.
This is
And I even give you a number that you could have called the person who's going to give you the actual thing what happened.
But sir,
And you ain't do it.
but hold on, sir. A couple of things. First of all, you have to be careful how you share information on the airwaves. But perhaps that's why I ended the call quickly.
You said to me to leave the number. I leave the number with the person, with the producer
Okay,
for
sir.
you to call the person.
Let me producer. I have a thousand.
Let me do this. Let me help you out. I'm going to get the nurses president number for you. Let's see if we can get that, and then we can say it on.
I can give you this one, and then I can hang up.
Go ahead.
I said that a nice yesterday.
No, I can't. No, they can't sit in the nurse.
You know,
can't- you won't
Judge
understand.
Judy said you can't bring hearsay to the airline. See,
Tell her go to her president, and let her president fight for her. That's what they have a whole union for. Let the nurses president go and bash up who's the labor person for now. That's Pierre Glover.
the minister responsible for labor.
Let the nurses president, I forget the nurse lady man. I'm getting old now. Let the nurses president deal with Pierre Glover and then the minister responsible. They can't go in here and say this nurse friend of yours say this and they won't go through the nurses union. That's problematic. Something wrong.
And in the interest of protecting the people who are affected by the issues you're raising, you have a right to free speech, but you have a responsibility to moderate what you say and how you say it right? You don't want to accidentally mash up the vibe because you said something inappropriately at the wrong time or in the wrong forum. That's it, caller.
Let's go to the next caller there. Garden Radio AM, go ahead. I want to give a shout out to Deja. She listening. I just get a PM from Sayul. Go ahead, caller.
Yes, sir. Good morning to all.
Morning.
Yes, sir. Are we allowed to call out the IMF and all these banks, these international banks on their neoliberal policies that they force upon
Yes.
Our countries like privatization and the like, you know.
Yes, you are. How? Let me add this. You're absolutely allowed to, right? For the benefit of your advocacy, though, right? For the benefit of your advocacy, you need to do it in a way that draws critical mass to what it is that you're saying. That's it. You have the right to do it, but you don't want to be libelous. You don't want to be slanderous. You don't want to be defamatory. You don't want to be defamatory, and you want to engage in a way that opens the conversation to people and doesn't close it down. And I could say right now in this instance, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I engage in a way that shuts it down and don't open it up.
The good thing is our Attorney General has been challenging these various organizations openly, and especially we're going to be evaluated recently.
Yeah, you could imagine that the government could see, the government understands entirely that our economy has human rights. Mm-hmm. They don't understand that us humans have human rights, but they know that economy have rights.
So I'm waiting on what the Attorney General is going to say regarding this new report that is pending. That's it, Carter? What else is pending on the news? Highlighting.
All right, Mr. Newry, in today's Tribune, RV trailers still in use 6 years after Dorian.
Well, of course. You expected to move, especially in Abaco, even Grand Bahama. They can be right there. There's no new house.
I didn't expect it to move, you know. I just also didn't expect the current administration to be so jubilous and celebratory about things, considering that 6 years after Dorian, RV trailers still in use. That's the disconnect for me.
Yeah. You see, I thought we passing the law or changing the law now to make RV trailers legal. Like it could be open.
In a hurricane zone?
It is what it is.
Inquest into missing man begins 10 years after he disappeared. On the other side of the break?
Yes, on the other side of the break. I have to continue that conversation for the whole week. Because it's been two now. Two people who, after going through what do you call that? The inquest? What do you call that whole?
Coroner's court.
The coroner's court. They move it from suicide to murder. I am concerned.
Remember what I told you?
What?
That I was concerned that there was a trend?
Yes, you did say that. Let's talk about it on the next side. Guardian Radio AM, because I am concerned where there's a trend.
trending though.
Yes. We'll be right back after this brief message.
They'll call you in for your x-ray shortly.
That's why they call it a waiting room. You won't have that problem at Fourth Terrace Diagnostic Center or Imaging at Grosvenor. We never schedule multiple appointments, so you'll be in and out in no time. And if your initial screening reveals a concern, our radiologist can conduct an alternative screening right then and there. Call 328-8157 to schedule an appointment at Fourth Terrace Diagnostic Center or Imaging at Grosvenor today.
Love the show? Want to give your support? Become a sponsor today. Call 302-2300 for our rates and packages. That's 302-2300. Become a sponsor on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk.
For fast, reliable, and impactful printing services, look no further. Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life. We stand by our quality products that is second to none. Our affordable pricing and friendly, efficient staff makes Printmasters the ultimate choice for all your printing needs. We can deliver any type of printing services, from banners to booklets to business cards. You name it, we can print it.
Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
And welcome back to Guardian Radio AM. During our last minutes, I want to commend the Coroner's Court. When you get confidence back in our system, I think during a yeoman's job, and Bahamians need to recognize whoever the coroner is, or
the office, right? Like we take it to protect the individual, right? We take it away from them. They'll get their accolades in the evaluations and assessments, right? Mm-hmm. But we say to the office
the
of the coroner's court,
yes.
Right?
Usually, I thought it's like a rubber stamp. People just ask questions. You go to the coroner's court, and whatever was determined already is going to be continued to determine. And we see that there's actual investigations happening within the coroner's court. Headline to see, so people understand why I'm referencing that.
Gang members killed my son. Inquest into missing man begins 10 years after he disappeared. A mother cried out that gang members, quote, killed my son, close quotes, as an inquest was held into the man's disappearance more than a decade ago. Charlton Moxey went missing on May 1st, 2015, after he reportedly went out with friends. His mother, Michelle Gray, yesterday gave testimony to the inquest, alleging that he had been murdered and saying that before his disappearance, he had been afraid for his life. Ms. Gray said she was told by her son's girlfriend, Shireen Williams, that Moxey had been picked up by his friends, Leo Jones and Lovato Wiley, that evening and had not been seen since. During her testimony, Ms. Gray erupted in tears and had to be comforted by Glendon Roll, the attorney who represented Moxey's family at the inquest. Ms. Gray said her son seemed very afraid and shaky the last time she saw him. She said he was afraid for his life. She also said her son told that if anything should happen to him, that she could buy his house. Ms. Gray said in the month leading up to his disappearance, Moxey appeared uneasy. She further said that her son went to South Police Station and reported that members of a gang wanted to kill him. However, she said her son never told her why they wanted to kill him. Superintendent Evans testified that Moxey was fitted with a monitoring device at the time of his disappearance. The officer said on the day of his disappearance, the device went offline and has never been recovered. Moxey was granted bail in October 2014 for an armed robbery charge from 2013. Angelo Whitfield serves as the evidence marshal. The coroner is Cara Turnquest DeVoe.
And just wanted to be a big shout out to Mr. DeVoe. Thanks very much. Let's go to this call. We're trying to squeeze people in at the last moment. This is the second case a coroner has come back and ruled, say, hey, this is not suicide. This looks suspicious.
Right. And listen, our perception about the function of the coroner's court may be askance simply because the coroner's court wasn't functioning for a long time.
Yes.
So now that it's functioning, we see that this is what it does.
This is what it does.
And we're glad that this function has returned to the judicial system.
Mm-hmm. Yes. The caller hang up, so let's go. We have 3 minutes to talk about something else. What else you want to talk about, Aaron?
So we can't talk about RV trailers still in use. Okay, no problem. Mr. Newry, Guardian, today, let's go to the oh, that's Wednesday's Guardian. You have today's Guardian right there in front of you? Yeah. Here we go. Inside page.
I see the opposition complaining about
F&M to name remaining candidates soon, San says.
I don't have no confidence.
Oh, you're talking about the story BCB says it cut show with F&M candidate because he started talking about politics? That's the entire headline.
Yeah?
Yeah. The Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas admitted yesterday that it prematurely ended a talk show with a Free National Movement candidate and did not stick to the focus of the show.
So the candidate who's a
Why you call him a candidate if he wasn't there to talk politics?
He's a politician.
The F&M candidate for West Grand Bahama and Bimini Omar Isaacs was a guest on Power 104.5 FM's man-to-man conversation in Grand Bahama last week, Wednesday. Isaacs reported that show hosts ended the interview early due to concerns about political commentary. Following the incident, F&M Deputy Leader Shenandoah Cartwright called the BCB's actions, quote, undemocratic, close quotes, and, quote, offensive, close quotes, and accused the corporation of censorship demanding an apology. In a statement released on Tuesday, the BCB defended its decision to cut the show early, calling Isaac's decision to address the matter on social media, quote, inappropriate and misleading, close quotes. The corporation said that the talk show, quote, primarily focused on issues affecting men in Bahamian society, close quotes. Quote, while Mr. Isaacs used the initial portion of the program to introduce himself, the conversation began to shift into commentary of a political nature, close quotes, the corporation said. Quote, during the program, our station manager advised the host during commercial breaks to keep the discussion aligned with the show's intended focus. Quote, despite these efforts, the conversation continued to veer away from the agreed direction. As a result, a decision was made to end the show early, close quotes. The corporation, which is a state-run media, says it is, quote, committed to impartiality and fairness in our coverage of national events and political development, close quotes. The BCB said Isaacs has been featured in, quote, multiple news segments on ZNS, including coverage on the Northern Service, has recently launched his campaign, close quotes. I know we're running out of time, right, Mr. Newry? I want to say this. There's a difference between political and partisan, right? And I think we make this mistake. we could talk about not just the politics of things, but I think you should be allowed to talk about politics in that context because that affects men. And what we should be concerned about is when we begin talking about partisan politics, right? And remember,
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app. Nassau